What's up, everybody? Thought I would do a random live stream because MrBeast has responded to the allegations, so I thought I would do a little live reaction. So he's responding to all of the allegations that have been made against him in the dog pack video, and pretty much everybody else on YouTube that was accusing him of stuff. So figured you guys would probably be interested in seeing it. How's everybody doing? This was not planned, by the way. I was just like, you know what? Should I do this? I don't know. Hopefully Oompaville doesn't copyright strike me. But yeah, we're here. I'm gonna give it like a minute, just let everybody join. But we'll get started soon. How's everybody doing? You guys can hear me good, right? Hey Zach, how you doing? Blue, oh my god. Shout out to Blue in the chat. What a legend. Good guy. This is like his 80th membership that he's gifted. What a dope guy. W's in the chat for Blue. Blue is like dude, he keeps the lights on in this household. What's up, Flamin' Gamer? How you doing? We're gonna get started here in a minute, guys. I'll probably start it at 6:08, so one more minute. This is pretty long, so I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole thing, but I'm gonna be doing a lot. Thank you, SideQuest Sam. I appreciate that. All right, it's 6:08. I said I would start at 6:08. Let's get started. And by the way, guys, I am going to pause the video every now and then to give you my thoughts, obviously. All right, let's go.
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Well,
MrBeast is currently on a private jet on his way to where I live in Central Texas to have a conversation with me with the intention of addressing the controversy that he has been involved in over the last few months. And I think that it is important for me to document my intentions before embarking on this risky and difficult task. I am not Scott Pelley. I am not a hard-hitting genius investigative journalist. I'm a YouTuber with a medium-sized platform. I am currently doing journalism, to be fair, but I am goofy, all right? Also, back in August, I platformed Dogpack, and
I think it's better that a YouTuber is interviewing him as opposed to an actual news person, because at least a YouTuber knows exactly what's going on. Let me know if you guys agree.
out of fairness, I feel that it is important to do the same for MrBeast. MrBeast has agreed to keep an open line of communication. He'll only be here for a little bit, which is crazy because he's flying halfway across the country. And he and his team have agreed to provide us with evidence and information to give proof to claims so we can actually be as transparent here as possible. The goal of this video is not for it to please everyone or gotcha somebody. It is for this video to be a meaningful source of information. So to future me and you currently viewing, I'm sure I missed some questions, but I absolutely did my best, and I stand behind the result, maybe, and I look forward to seeing the comments and criticism. Firstly, would you be willing to put your hand on this Bible and swear?
oh my gosh, you actually have a Bible?
I have two Bibles.
Are you being serious?
I am being serious.
Okay.
I'm swearing. We're both from the South.
I think that's a little odd. I mean, I guess if MrBeast believes in the Bible, I guess that's a good way to make him tell the truth. I think it was kind of weird for them to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know.
This will be an honest video.
Oh, your laptop's blocking it.
Oh, whoops. This will be an honest video. You're a man from North Carolina. I'm from Virginia.
The Bible Belt.
The Bible Belt,
Yep.
exactly.
I know what this means.
This means it's legit.
Yes. Okay.
There we go.
I was not expecting that. Okay.
This is like legal now.
It is. I can go to jail.
The first biggest question for me and a lot of people that I've spoken to over the last couple months is like, why were you so silent? Especially off the bat. Like, you did respond to the Ava Tyson stuff immediately, but like, you know, right after that, a bunch of other stuff came out, and Dawson's video, his first video, gained a bunch of traction. What was your reasoning for being so silent immediately?
No, that's a great question to kick it off on. You actually kind of laid out the timeline there. The Ava stuff came out, and I put out that tweet. We hired the investigators to go look into it, and part of that investigation is they recommended that I not talk about drama or really do anything online because it might influence, witnesses or any people they might interview or ex-employees. So it's a little unfortunate because I told them, okay, I'll wait till the investigation is over. I believe that was literally like a week before the dog pack video came out. And then truthfully, just in transparency, I've never done one of these like big investigations before. And in my head, it was going to last like 2 or 3 weeks. It ended up taking a couple months, apparently.
I don't know, guys. I mean, so here's my thing, right? And so when PR stuff happens and legal stuff happens and they tell you, hey, you shouldn't respond to this, I feel like you can still make a tweet and say, hey, guys, just want to let you guys know all these accusations against me, this is some bullshit. And I can't say much yet, but I will prove it wrong soon. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you can say that. Let me know if you guys agree.
Apparently combing through all the documents and doing all the interviews and everything just took way longer than I thought because I've never had to bring in a top tier law firm and a former federal prosecutor and let them, do this really big thing. And so that kind of concluded a couple weeks ago when I put out the tweet of the follow-up.
Yeah.
Like that was the day I got the conclusion of it. And I was like, okay, in transparency, I'll throw this out. So up until that point, it was, I had told Quinn Emanuel that, to protect the integrity, I wouldn't do anything or engage in any of this drama. And then after that, yeah, like you said, a lot of stuff had come out between when the investigation started and when it ended. And I was just kind of like, whoa, I don't really know how to like hit this stuff. And I made like a little response video, but that's just kind of not my style, where I just kind of like put a lot of the information that I assume we're going to talk about here out. And it just felt weird. Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I've never been in a situation where people have thrown this much stuff at me, and I definitely could have handled it better. Like, I probably should have, like, the second I could have talked, like, I don't remember the exact date, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we put that report out, probably should have done something like this right then. If I could go back in time, I would. And yeah, that's kind of like the brain dump, and then here I am.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, you answered it towards the end, but like, do you regret that? Obviously.
Yeah. If I could go back in time, I would do what we're doing here because I assume this is like the correct format. It's gonna be a little.
Here's the thing, right? And let me know if you guys agree or disagree. If you get accused of 1,000 different things by 1,000 different people, and you are silent on all of it, it makes people think that you're guilty, right? It makes people think that you are like, oh shit, like I have all this stuff getting thrown at me. I don't know what to say. I don't have an actual response, right? And I understand when lawyers get involved, they want you to be like, hey, don't say too much, right? But again, you can at least make one tweet, say, hey, I just want to say that a lot of this stuff is some bullshit. I will prove it later, but yeah.
A little bit more free flowing and natural, and I wouldn't have wasted so much time like trying to do a response. It's just not my thing. I like so much better, or I'm assuming. I mean, we just started, but I think I'm gonna like so much better being asked the questions and answer it instead of just like sitting in a chair like this answering it. It just feels a little more natural.
Got you. Yeah, I mean that definitely, that does line up obviously with what's happened, and it makes sense. And I definitely, I feel like, before talking to you, I definitely would imagine that you would regret have not making a response early.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like that, because you could have just immediately, if there is information to debunk Dogpack's his first video off the bat.
Yeah, which obviously had so much disinformation in it. If anyone saw Soggy's video or any of the newer videos now coming out, like you would see so much. So much of it. So it's unfortunate that it happened on the back end of when I said I would not talk about or address drama and things. And I mean, there's obviously, should have done this sooner. Whoops. But hey, better late than never.
Yeah. Did you think it would get this big?
No, I mean, truthfully, I thought, like, if you watch Soggy's video or any of these other videos that are coming out now showing all the discrepancies.
By the way, guys, I don't know if they're going to get into this, but MrBeast has actually been messaging people on Twitter and requesting them to cover Soggy Cereal's video. So if you guys don't know who Soggy Cereal is, they're another YouTuber who did a video kind of defending MrBeast. And I have seen a bunch of videos that MrBeast has done, or comments that he's written on people's videos, basically saying like, thank you for defending me and stuff like that. So he's kind of like taking the initiative to like give people a reason to defend him, if that makes sense.
I honestly thought a lot of people would find like the information proving the dishonesty earlier.
The Google.
Yeah, like because a lot of this could have been just figured out Google. A lot of this could. And now I also have to be clear. Like I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying I've never done anything wrong, and you can't criticize me. Like there are things I deserve criticism for, and I'm sure we'll get to some of those things in here. But there are a lot of things that are just not true, and on those things, like, I mean, we'll just get to it throughout this because I'm sure you're gonna ask me the questions. But there's just a lot of disinformation that was easily proved wrong. Like the big one that videos with tens of millions of views collectively, claiming I called a guy Delaware because he committed a crime in Delaware. Like,
I agree with that point, Mew. If people are covering Dogpack's video, they should also cover Soggy's video just so you get both sides of the story. For me, I know some of you guys are thinking what I think about the situation. I already made my videos on the whole MrBeast thing, so seek him out if you haven't already. I think the Chris Tyson thing, what they did, that was some fucked up shit. Like, that was really a different level. So all this other accusations against MrBeast, I don't know enough about it to comment on it, if that makes sense.
No, that is not true. His name was just Delaware. I didn't, call him Delaware to make fun of him or anything. And I'm sure you're gonna ask about it later. But like, there's literally he was in a video before I hired him working at Best Buy wearing a name tag that said Delaware, and like that was public information. And like, anyone could have saw that. And like even during when that was like getting shared a lot a couple months ago, I even sent that to a couple of YouTubers. I was like, hey, just so you know, like, I didn't call him Delaware because of this messed up thing. Like that was just his name, and here's proof. And I guess I probably shouldn't say the name of the creators, but like one of them literally just said to me, like, well, it's not really cool to like you or defend you right now, so I don't really care whether or not it's true, or I don't want to take the video down because then people are gonna think I'm controlled opposition. I was like, whoa. And then also like that same photo, are you gonna like throw some things on the screen for them?
Definitely.
Yeah, so throw it on the screen. That same photo, right after that second Dogpack video, started to get traction on Reddit and saying like, hey, this is a lie. Jimmy didn't call him Delaware.
Yes, I am reading chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm reading it while I'm watching the video. And shout out to Oompaville as well, obviously, for getting the interview.
To make fun of him, committing a crime in Delaware. That's just his name. And it got taken down by the mods on r/YouTube drama. And that's when I realized, like, oh, anytime there's a post proving like that I'm not evil, they were taking it down. So it was a little unfortunate too, because I wasn't saying anything, and then on Reddit, anytime something was proving that I wasn't evil or contrarian to what everyone was saying, they were suppressing it or censoring it. Not trying to sound extreme.
So you're saying it's like a echo chamber, which Reddit r/YouTube drama is.
Yeah, I know, but it's unfortunate when there's a post with 10,000 upvotes claiming something false about you, and then everyone, then a couple people are like, wait, that's not true. Here's proof. And then they delete it every time. So then everyone's like, okay, well then that must be true, because they're also deleting the comments on that post that prove it's not. And so then then it's just like, now, again, I'm not trying to sound extreme, but it's just like, oh, you're censoring information. And then that paired with other YouTubers, when I would call them and share it with them, they'd just be like, well, I don't want to be a MrBeast glazer, so I don't really.
Now, obviously, we just have to take MrBeast's word on that specific statement. But if what he just said is true, if he did contact commentary YouTubers with new information proving that he's innocent, and then they said, nah, I don't want to make a video correcting my stuff because I don't want to be a MrBeast glazer, then that's fucked up. But I'm just expressing my opinion based on what he said,
They wouldn't say it this direct, but they would just essentially say, like, I don't really care if it's true or not. I'm just going to say what other people say, like, sorry.
Do you have evidence of, like, people, there being posts that existed and then didn't exist on Reddit that got...
of course. Yeah, okay, I can send you
if you'd send me anything
you can throw it up on screen. That's not, like, a conspiracy theory. That's
of course,
Yeah,
just,
we can find quite a few.
I'm not that good at using Google. So.
Yeah.
I'll need you to help me with that. Yeah, so to circle back to the Quinn Emanuel investigation, the big thing on the internet, on Twitter specifically, was that you found yourself to be innocent. Of course, you paid a law firm to find yourself innocent.
I saw those memes, yeah.
There's the big meme. How would you respond to the allegation that the investigation was biased from the start?
Yeah. So... first off, to just set the foundation, I think a lot of people are saying, oh, of course, Jimmy did an internal investigation, found himself, they didn't find any wrongdoing, which is also not true, which I assume we'll go into that more later. They did find some wrongdoing, just not in regards to like the serious Ava allegations.
Okay, investigation produced the following significant findings. I'm going to avoid saying some of these words, guys, because the second I say them, I'm going to get demonetized. So Allegations of sexual misconduct, okay, between company employees and minors are without basis. The allegations were soundly rejected, including by alleged victims. Allegations of the company knowingly employing individuals with proclivities and histories towards illegal or questionable, okay, without basis. So basically, this is saying that there was no evidence of any of this happening in his company.
So that's a false truth. And then on top of that, it wasn't an internal investigation. It was an external investigation, which was clearly laid out in the things we showed.
Yeah, a third-party investigation.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it is a little bit of a, like, a lot of people I saw were saying, like, well, you paid them. And it's like, well, yeah, top-tier lawyers and federal prosecutors don't work for free, so I have to pay them.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to debunk that one. I mean, it just is what it is. But, yeah, we hired Quinn Emanuel, which is one of the top law firms in the world. Like, I mean, it was very expensive, but I intentionally picked them because they have a reputation and they're not just going to destroy their entire business to be biased towards me. You know what I mean? And then it was led by a former federal prosecutor who did the whole thing. I mean, it was pretty intense. I mean, they did tons of interviews. I mean, transparent. They even like scanned my phone, dug through, like they have messages I sent to my girlfriend. And I'm like, why is this even relevant? They're like, I mean, if you want a thorough one and you want us to like be confident in what we're saying, we need to see everything. Like they went pretty hardcore on it.
I agree,
which is why it ended
Scallion.
up taking a couple of months. Because truthfully, when I started this process, I didn't realize like how intense it was. But I gave him the reins to everything, and yeah, it took longer than I thought. But I don't know. I mean, is there any like how else do I prove it besides? I mean, I think another thing that missing context people don't have is like if they found anything illegal, they are obligated to report it to the police. Like this like that's how these things work when they do these investigations. It's not like they could be like, hey Jimmy, we found this illegal thing. We'll just sweep it on the rug.
But it's all right because you paid us.
Yeah, like so it's just in every way. I just don't think people understand. Like it's it was obviously Quinn Emanuel. That's why we paid them.
MrBeast has admitted that he's wrong about some things, and there are some things that I definitely think that he really, really messed up on, and he should apologize for. But I agree with him on that point. There's no way that he actually paid off everybody who did an investigation on him. Paid off literally everybody, and they were all just like, yeah, no problem, we're good. I mean, of course, there's a chance, but I don't think that happened. Yeah.
And it was pretty thorough and.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, those are two things that make sense, right? We just covered two back-to-back things that make sense. A, you waited a long time for the investigation, and B, you paid like a very reputable law firm, whatever, to investigate. Both of those things make sense logically from your perspective, but also optically from the outside looking in for people who are just seeing the allegations. They're like, oh, this guy looks guilty.
Yeah.
He's building this big sort of law team, and he's not responding, and he's like it. So it's kind of bizarre and unfortunate because like it does make sense like from a logical perspective.
I mean, because there's two things I could do. I could do an internal investigation.
Yeah,
but that's dumb
great idea
because I don't want to audit myself.
Let your mom do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let my mom do it, or I could do an external one. That's what we
Imagine his mom investigated him and he said he was guilty.
did. And again, it's like because I didn't have control over it. Obviously, if I did, I would have been like, bro, do this in 2 weeks so I can get this out there. Like I didn't want it to take months, but I mean, that's part of an external investigation. You don't have control over it.
Now, would you consider, so you obviously regret the remaining silent, would you consider that the third-party investigation as a whole, in looking back, would that have been, would you say that's a mistake?
No, I just think I would push back on like, do I really have to be silent? Like, can I just like do this thing? Like go clap back on some of these things. But, like some of these things, people were apparently talking to ex-employees or whatever. And so it just gets muddy because I really didn't want the integrity of the investigation to like, be in question or anything. So I was like super paranoid where I was like, okay, this is what they said. I don't want to push back or anything. But yeah, obviously in hindsight, like, I mean, a lot of these things that were just blatantly lies. Like if I just clap back instantly, people were just like, okay, cool, and moved on.
Would you consider making some details of the investigation that have yet to be seen public? Obviously, there's like a level of confidentiality that is required legally.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like, is there anything?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what we put out as much as we could, but.
By the way, guys, I just want to mention this before I forget it. Did you guys know that apparently More Pegasus had an interview set up with MrBeast and MrBeast didn't show up for it? I just want to know if everyone knew that. That's what More Pegasus says. Obviously, we just have to take his word for it. But that one doesn't make sense to me because why would MrBeast do an interview with More Pegasus when More Pegasus made like fucking 30 videos shitting on him. That doesn't really make sense to me. I'll pull up More Pegasus's post for you guys. Basically, over here in his, yeah, so I think it was that, yeah. So he basically said he talked to MrBeast. Jimmy said he did a lot of things wrong. They set up an interview. He seemed excited for getting his perspective, and then in the last minute, his team canceled, and they want to do an in-person interview rather than an online one. And they weren't able to make it work. So did he admit to knowing about Ava or not? I don't know, actually. I haven't seen any information on that. If he did admit it, somebody let me know where I can find it in the chat. But do you guys agree or disagree? Doesn't it not make sense for MrBeast to want to do an interview with More Pegasus when More Pegasus made 30 videos on him? I'm just being objective here, whether you like these people or not. I've actually spoken to More Pegasus in the DMs before. Despite all of his absolute slop content, he honestly seems like a good dude. He did support me in the MrBeast, not the MrBeast. He did support me in the deep humor drama that I had. He actually, we talked about it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
I mean, obviously, they did dozens of interviews, including alleged people who were victims, and I mean, like I said, my message to my girlfriend, like they gathered a lot, so I don't really think I can. I mean, there's a lot of sensitive data and information in there.
What about like a just to back up your claims to their
oh, but things on like how like they did it independently and they weren't biased, like that side. I mean. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what people would want to see, but yeah, I mean, we can figure it out.
Just from what I know about like retainer contracts with lawyers and working with, third-party investigations, things like, which I don't have any experience with anything that big, obviously.
Yeah.
But maintaining a level of compliance, like, I mean, if there's like a retainer contract, something showing that, you shouldn't.
Now, this is where I'm ignorant. Like, I don't even know really what a retainer contract is, but
yeah, I mean, like
if there's any way I could, of course.
Like your third party saying, Jimmy, don't talk, like just basically giving credence to what you're saying even more. So more evidence of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something I'd have to like go talk to the team on. But,
yeah,
I mean,
that would help.
If that's something where people desperately want transparency, I mean, we can figure something out.
Yeah, I that would just help me. I'm not sure if people, honestly, I don't know if people would give a fuck.
Yeah, but, I don't know either.
I would,
because if people are like, we think Quinn Emanuel's biased, like even.
Yeah, Atlas, you got Blue to thank for that. Shout out to Blue. In the comments, he's the one who's been gifting memberships. Another question I have, I wonder why MrBeast chose Oompaville specifically. I don't watch Oompaville's videos, but was he like neutral on the coverage or something? I don't know. If you guys watch Oompaville, let me know.
No matter what I show them, if they think a top tier law firm would willingly potentially tank their rep for me, like I don't know if there's anything that's ever
it's
to
foolish,
convince them.
Right? Yeah, it is foolish, and it makes sense. But once again, it's like optically, there is a very easy lowest common denominator way to look at stuff.
Yeah. And also, what I would say to those people is I'm here, so it's not like I'm like maybe that argument would work if I just never did anything, but I'm here, so
in the lion's den.
Yes, controlled opposition towards me. Hey, also, I'd love to say I don't know if he's posting this chronologically or whatnot, but I mean, he also did interview Dogpack multiple times, so it's because I could have done this with anyone, but I think this one makes sense because you've literally had the other side on here. So
okay, well, he just answered my question. So the reason why he wanted to do this interview with Oompaville is because Oompaville has interviewed Dogpack before. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and also to be clear as well, I have not signed like an NDA or I mean, there's genuinely nothing that's been signed. You haven't given me $1 million.
No. Hey, you should say I haven't given you a penny.
A penny. Okay,
yeah. You gave him 999.
Not.
Yeah, he didn't give him $1 million. He must have gave him $2 million. Exposed. Confirmed.
You've given me nothing, bro. Yeah, it's actually just, it's kind of interesting. It really is interesting. This is a bold move, I would consider. It's quite a bold move.
And it's even more bold because I'm never vulnerable on camera. And like,
it's from.
Hey, thank you for the donation, Andre. The interview is staged like the Mike Tyson versus Paul fight. Oh my God. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys will know what I thought about that fight. Dude, I'm just watching Mike Tyson's poor old man just getting beat up. I was like, dude, what the fuck? But yeah, thank you, Andre.
From a lot of perspectives, it is quite bold. And it's not like I haven't been critical. I feel like I've been
That's for
fairly
sure.
Critical? What? My boy, Charlie? All right, anyways.
critical. I feel, and it, like talking to you, I feel bad. You know, obviously because I'm a person. There's different levels to how much you care about shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is. If there were a testament, it would be that would be a testament to this being being a meaningful source of information. This video, I feel like. I hope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is definitely outside my comfort zone, but I think it's important.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's kind of past like the main initial allegations. We can move on to sort of corporate culture and HR practices. That's been a big sort of point that a lot of critics have hammered home.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're just getting right into the hard-hitting stuff.
hell yeah. So there have been a lot of questions about your workplace culture, such as a lack of diversity or also HR problems.
Yeah.
What, if anything, have you done?
Wait, what? I've never heard that accusation about MrBeast's workplace before, that there's a lack of diversity. Is that a new one, or is that like one that people have been saying? I don't know. I've never heard that one before.
Done to address these concerns? How have you handled it since information came out, and how do you plan on handling it in the future?
Okay, so we'll start with the diversity one. If I forget the HR one, just bring it up when I finish that one. Diversity, I have seen a lot of people mention that about our company, which, I mean, that one's just not even true. Like, I mean, Feastables, for example, a couple months old, but like almost 70% of our company is women. We actually, because we do dub studios around the world, now zooming out of Feastables over to content, I mean, we actually have pretty crazy amount of diversity in our company. So because we have 400 people that work for me. It's not just me and the boys on the camera, which is the 5 you see. So that one, the few people have claimed that like they don't have any data to back it up. So I guess I probably should have brought some data here. I don't want to just say percentages off the top of my head.
If you have, I'm sure you've got some kind of
but I really, that one I just don't think is rooted in anything. And then what was the second part?
HR, yeah. How have you handled HR problems? What HR problems have popped up?
So that one, I mean, it's a little bit of a general question, but yeah, I mean, obviously in general, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of things about, HR stuff in my company. And I think one thing people don't have is just the context. Like, I think they think my channel is just like 5 people or 10 people or 20, whatever. Like, they don't realize the size of it. Like, specifically because our videos have gotten so big, I mean, I'm going to give a little range because depending on how many people we've hired in the last month, it's somewhere between like 250 or 300 people work at my production company. So this is a big company. There's a lot of people. And then on top of that, when we do like bigger videos where we need to build big sets or whatever, sometimes we bring in hundreds of contractors. So there's a lot of people that work here. And like, I just want to blanketly say, like, company.
Mixed Gamer, my guy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here's a 10 for you. I like to help your algorithm as well. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll get to 1 million someday. W's in the chat for Mixed Gamer. What a guy. Thank you. Appreciate that. You know what? While we're taking a little break here, let's see what some of the comments say. Finally a video. Okay, he's making a joke about what MrBeast commented on Soggy Cereal's video. Big day for the unemployed. Okay, Oompy is such a nice guy supporting small creator. Okay, so where's some of the serious comments? Just remember, there are absolutely no heroes in this story. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's a interesting take. Feels like a finale to a TV series. Yeah. Okay. After so much radio science, we finally get to hear from Jimmy. Internet Anarchist, he was commenting on my video about deep humor. Hear that? That's the sound of the rent being paid for commentary YouTubers. Okay, let's go back into it.
Companies at this size, like, you can't ever guarantee that every interaction everyone's going to have is always going to be positive with each other. I mean, that's just impossible. So I want to start off by just saying that because I don't want people to watch this and then like a year from now, like hear some rumor and be like, oh, Jimmy didn't learn. Like, any company of this size, there's always going to be some problem someone has. Now, having said that, I'm not trying to use it as like a blanket of like, see, and shield myself. There are 2 things that are like someone in my position who runs a company like this is in control of. One is, making sure we're not fostering anything inappropriate and, allowing it. And then 2, when it inevitably happens, because it just will in a company my size. And I'm trying to be transparent here. Like, it's, how do you respond to it? And then in the making sure you're not fostering it, part of Quinn Emanuel, when we had them do their investigation, is I had them look at every system in my company. I had them talk to my employees and see if there's anything they could bring to Quinn Emanuel's attention that they could make me aware of. And I think it was in the report, is like we established an anonymous hotline, because Quinn Emanuel was showing me data that like sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking to HR or their boss, and like if you have an anonymous hotline that goes to someone outside the company that can hear a complaint and then beam it into you without disclosing who it was, like you'll get more honest feedback, you know, because there's like, so they showed us a lot of things like that. Also making sure we're not fostering it. Like I think it's also in there as well. We leveled up like our C-suite, because I've had a lot of people that have grown with me, but like me, they've never ran a company that has hundreds of employees before. So I actually just hired a couple people who have worked on Fortune 500 companies, who have actually ran companies of this size before. And so, you know, they've shown me lots of things that bigger companies do that obviously I'm just ignorant on, because I'm a YouTuber. You know what I mean? I spent my life staring at retention charts and CTR, not how to structure a business. So just that's phase one, is making sure you're not fostering, you know, a culture that supports that stuff. And then inevitably, like I said, you can't ever guarantee when you're working with hundreds of people full time, and then when you add part-time people, potentially over 1,000 sometimes, you just got to make sure if there are issues that, you know, actual real issues, like if someone complains because someone peed on a toilet seat, like I'm not, oh well. But if there's an actual serious issue, then, you know, we'll bring in
What the hell was that? You guys see the video glitch out there for a second? Was that just me?
Well, but if there's an actual serious...
What the fuck? That looked a little odd. I know it's just a little thing with the camera, but what the fuck was that? You turned into a specter for a second there. We got to get an action replay on that.
Because someone peed on a toilet seat, like I'm not, oh well. But if there's an actual serious issue, then, you know, we'll bring in professionals who experience and, you know, getting down to it, interview them, gather the information. I'll recuse myself. I don't want to be the arbiter of truth. And then, you know, those experts who are experienced in handling those things, they'll tell me how to handle it. If they tell me to fire someone, I fire them. If they tell me to whatever, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the one who makes those decisions. So, and transparency, that's kind of, you know.
So so I think this is one where a lot of YouTubers, people who have covered this type of thing, don't really understand that HR is a real living and breathing organism in business, and if you don't maintain it, it can become a problem for a normal business. But when your business is someone like you whose reputation is on the line, I also have a bunch of businesses. I've got 60 employees, and we have an HR department. And like something happens once a month where someone gets an anonymous report, and then we have to solve that problem, and then we actually
you're evil.
Yeah, and that's you know, that's how it feels sometimes. Yeah. But I'm not involved obviously in that stuff, and my YouTube side is very compartmentalized. So the way that I do that, it makes sense to me. I want to be as detached as much as possible from the day-to-day operations of like the actual business. You're saying you're running the company. Is there a world in which what is your job title? Is there a world in which you step back and you are just like not an actor necessarily, but you're the guy, you're MrBeast?
Bro, what the fuck is going on? What is this? What the hell? Oh my god. Do I gotta put a timer on the chat? Give me 1 second, guys. Thank you to everybody who's normal in the chat and not a fucking weirdo. 1 second. What a fucking weirdo, dude. Dude, it's insane how like you can't just have like a normal stream. People just want to be fucking weird. Thank you, Nick. W's in the chat for Nick, by the way, for keeping an eye on that. All right. Yeah, you know what, Blue? You've earned mod. I'll make you a mod. So. W's to Nick, W's to Blue. Yeah. Appreciate everybody who's normal in the chat. Love you guys. Man, people are just fucking assholes, man. It's insane. Okay, well, let's get started back again.
And you let the business be operated by an entity to where you can stand beside it essentially, instead of being at the head of it.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's my channel, it's my company, so I wouldn't take it that far. I think like the big thing is just bringing in people who have actually ran a company at this size before, because eventually I will be more educated and knowledgeable. Like every day, I'm learning more on like how to properly run a company with hundreds of people and better do it. But I'm still very ignorant. Like I probably crossed 100 employees like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, but it's still just growing. So like, because across everything, you know, if you include Feastables and view stats,
Dude, are we gonna be able to watch this stream? Is my question. Holy shit, man. All right, well, we'll put it on standby until like we can figure this out. Let me see if I can try to put like a timer or something on this. Sorry to everybody who's watching the stream normally. Man, people are so weird, dude. Oh, subscribers only? Yeah, I'll do that. How do I do that? Let me figure that out real quick. Oh yeah, I figured it out. Okay, I think it's on subscribers only chat now. Let me know if it is, guys. Fucking racist cunts, man. Fucking assholes. Sorry, that pisses me off. Well, thank you to everybody else for being here. Ah, God. That shit pisses me off, man. Okay, let's get back started again. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. Thank you, Blue.
we have over 400 employees. So it's a learning thing. But that's the thing. While I'm learning, I need to bring in people who have been there and, you know, learn from them.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no replacement for just experience, right?
Exactly.
Like, you can be as smart as anybody, but if you haven't been able to go through the things you've gone through and like things just personally that I know that I've gone through and learned from business, it's not possible to know. It's not possible to know how to react to those things, or you know, that's why I sort of try to do my best to compartmentalize my business. Obviously, different beast than what you're operating, but it just it's just you know, it's difficult and it does make sense, and you've used.
Would you just ask me to get you pregnant? I can't get you pregnant, bro. I can't pay the child support.
Used the word ignorant a couple times. You know, I'd be interested to see how how changes are made after this, which you've already made a lot of changes. Obviously, the anonymous reporting is the biggest one for HR. Yeah, that's like been a
and it's like that's one of those things where, you know, like it's not like I was like, oh, we don't need. I just didn't know. Like I never seen the data they showed me, and like if any other people have this kind of stuff, like I'm always open to learning.
Of course, yeah, and I think the most important thing too is like at the end of the day, you've got the most to gain from all this.
Exactly. I want my employees happy. I gain nothing out of them not being happy. Like it hurts me. It's like I have a monetarily incentivization to do this kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I feel like the criticism of entities like yours and even mine, with truth, obviously, and like logic, and there's a real basis of rationale that makes sense, that's centered in reality. Yeah. I feel like that's super important because once again, you have so much to gain, and like you spend less, you make a little bit less money, but your employees are substantially happier and they feel, you know, safer or just more confident in you as their leader or their boss. So it's like, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how all this kind of goes from here after this point, especially. Yeah. Because this is a big moment.
I know, the interview, the day of the interview.
But that makes sense though. I mean, and like I don't want to continuously interject my own business experience, but I think it does set me apart from other YouTubers who are involved in this, in that I do have business experience.
Green Potato, it's pretty much confirmed that he did contact different commentary channels. I was watching like the comment section of different commentary channels, and MrBeast was commenting, like saying like thank you. What's it called? Timeworks, if you guys know him. He made a video about the MrBeast situation, and MrBeast commented on his video saying like thank you for covering this.
Experience from it, sort of the same thing. I just fell into running actual businesses and having
Yeah.
to do payroll and HR, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
I had no idea any of this stuff existed, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get fucked. Your mom was previously head of your HR department, and some people have criticized that as a conflict of interest. Did you personally, at the time, even consider that? And do you now also acknowledge that that is a conflict of interest?
Oh, I agree. That's a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
I do think context matters though, because like this is where a lot of these things that I assume we're going to talk about is like people conflate current MrBeast with 400 employees and spending
Yes.
Me too, Atlas. He started that sentence off with your mom. I was like, oh shit, it's getting real here.
hundreds of millions of dollars a year with MrBeast when he's a teenager and starting. I mean, when I first started hiring people, it was like, oh, we went to high school together. You want to help me make videos? And I hired a couple of my friends for high school. So, and then I was like, how do I do taxes and this kind of stuff? And I was like, Mom, help. And so, I mean, I wouldn't say she's head of HR. I mean, she was.
Sorry to keep pausing, but dude, he's so right on that, man. You don't learn shit about taxes or how to buy a house or anything in high school or college, man. You just have to figure that stuff out by yourself, unfortunately.
She was, I guess, but she's also running finance, and it's not like a real company. We just get in this like little 700 or no, actually that one was $1,080 a month office I was renting, and I'd just be like to this one guy that I knew from high school, all right, today you're gonna go paint this thing. Today, you friend number 2, you're gonna like help me edit this, and you friend number 3, you're gonna go to the store and buy 1,000 chickens that like scream when you press down on them. And Mom, I don't know, just make sure the IRS doesn't sue me. Like that's the time frame we're talking about here. But yes, I agree. Like it's stupid. Like you definitely shouldn't have your mom as an HR person. You should just hire someone who was educated in HR, which is obviously what we have. We have an HR team now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think, and that's sort of like one of the weird things from just a business perspective. Once again, it's like someone becomes HR by default. Yeah. Even if you don't say, well, this is the HR person, this is our contact.
I mean, because like back then, it's like, I mean, if you had a problem, just tell me. There's like 5 of us. So,
that's true. Yeah,
but yes, but still, I'm like, in this, I'm not trying to like deflect everything. Like, I mean, yes, obviously you shouldn't. You should hire an actual HR person. Agreed.
That's good advice.
Yes.
That's sound advice. I do agree with that.
Shocker.
Totally. Yeah, crazy. The no doesn't mean no policy that was criticized. That was crazy. I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, what the fuck?
What, you're answering for me. Let me answer.
Hold on. It was criticized, especially by Soggy recently, of having been taken out of context. Can you explain what the no doesn't mean no policy was and why it was in the...
Yes. So, yeah. So... It's funny, even the word like policy, it's like, so when we started hiring more people, I wrote this little, I almost like advice book just for a lot of employees, because I wasn't able to talk with people as much as I was early on. And one part of it that people, when this thing got leaked, and I wrote it with some other people in my company, it wasn't just me, but when this got leaked, there's a section that said no does not mean no. And then they just like cropped that out. And they're like, look, this is proof Jimmy's immoral and evil. When obviously, like you were saying, if you read the context below, it makes sense. The gist of why we had a section that said no does not mean no is because we do, I don't know if anyone's ever seen our videos, crazy things that have never been done before, right? No one's ever, on YouTube at least, buried themselves alive for 7 days. No one like tries to dangle an obstacle course from cranes. And it's like, the problem I kept running into early on when I was hiring people is I'd be like, hey, I want to do this. And then they would go call someone. So like, let's say the obstacle course in the sky where we had like this obstacle courses that Mac did, held up by these cranes, weighed like 100,000 pounds or whatever. Like they would call crane companies and they'd be like, no. And then they'd be like, okay, hang up. And they'd come to me and they'd go, Jimmy, they said, no, we can't do it. The video's not possible. And it's like, okay, well, of course they're going to say no because everything we do has never been done before. But like, ask them why. Like obviously, if they don't be rude, but if they say no, just try to understand why, right? And a lot of times you'll have an instance where like, well, we can't get all the cranes at one time because we're renting them out. And it's like, okay, perfect. We respect that. But can I offer something before you actually hard say no? What if we went to the 2 or 3 other clients?
Yeah, I timed out Fish. I mean, hey, at least he's not, being a dickhead. He's being weird, but, oh, here we go. Speaking of, oh my God, man. Dude, the timing is insane. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Nick. I think we might get another wave here, boys and girls. I think it'll be harder for them to do it because each account has to individually subscribe or something. I don't know. But okay, well, I mean, we'll use that piece of shit as a divider for the video. What do you guys think so far? For those of you guys who've been watching since the beginning, or maybe if you just joined a minute ago, what do you guys think about everything he said so far? I feel like MrBeast has been being pretty reasonable, but obviously this is a controlled environment, and Oompa doesn't really seem to be like pressing him that hard on anything, you know? So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, MrBeast, like there are a few things confirmed that he fucked up on. So yeah. It's kind of hard to like criticize somebody though when they're being super nice to you in person, you know what I mean? Like it's easy to talk shit about people online, but going to his face and being like, "Oh, you know, you fucked up." Like it's a little bit more difficult, you know. It's okay, Paranormal Gaming. I appreciate the rest of you guys here. Jace, Atlas, all these guys. Appreciate you guys. Funky Pillow. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you guys.
That day that were renting the cranes, we paid them 5 times the amount of money they paid to rent those cranes to just, you know, rent them a week later. And let's just see. And then the company would usually be like, "Oh, you would do that?" It's like, yeah, like we want to work with you to find a solution.
Not yet, Malik. Unless I zoned out. Everybody, did MrBeast mention the Chris Tyson thing? I don't think so. I feel like I've been paying attention. I don't think he's mentioned that yet.
To make your problem our problem and solve it. And then, like, you know, then a hard no will 50% of the time turn into, "Oh, well, yeah, actually, we can do it if you're willing to spend a little extra money or whatever." So that was me trying to educate my employees on that. And somehow, well, I don't know. I'm not even going to say somehow. I know how. I mean, people who didn't care about the truth and just, you know, wanted to spread disinformation and manipulate and lie to millions of people, which it worked, spun that into, I mean, I'm not even going to state the obvious, but I mean, which made no sense because the context for it was literally written right below it. But I mean, that just shows the ill will intent of certain people.
Yeah, because no doesn't mean no. I mean, that is like, there's just a massive, heavy negative connotation with that, obviously, in the zeitgeist. So, yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense in a vacuum, or, you know, in with this context, it does make perfect sense, but you got to see, if I were to be like, yeah, this guy, MrBeast, is getting canceled for all kinds of crazy shit, and he has a no doesn't mean no policy. Anyways, like, that's crazy.
I know.
That's fucking
And you should
insane.
throw it on screen so your viewers can see.
so they can actually see the
so you
full
can see
thing,
the context, because it clearly lays it out. So no one actually saw that and thought what these channels were implying.
Yeah.
They just willfully were ignorant so they could get 1 out of 10s and make some money. I mean, that's the truth. Like, I'm sorry, but
Now on to sort of content production and the question of authenticity behind the content that you make. There have been claims that you use some CGI in your videos, that is computer-generated imagery. Do you think the use of CGI can undermine the credibility or authenticity of the content that you're making? And if so, why do you choose to use it?
good question. And yes, I do think rampant use of CGI can undermine it. And I try to do my best to be transparent. Did you ever see So Crispy's video where they showed the behind the scenes of our Squid Game video?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've done lots of BTS videos on them, and we've done other BTS videos. So I try to show it transparently, but let me think about it. I mean, honestly, the truth is, like, obviously there are channels like Corridor Digital and stuff like that.
I think pretty much everyone can agree with what I'm about to say here. I don't really mind CGI that much. I mind AI. If a video is like completely made of AI, then I'm like, I feel like this isn't that like authentic. You know what I mean? That's just me. I'm not a fan of AI in like video creation and stuff. There have been people who have reached out to me where they're like, yeah, I'll make you an AI thumbnail or whatever, AI like a video for you, like a video that you can just commentate over. I've had people message me that, and I'm just like, I'm good, thanks. I'd rather you guys see the actual video, see my mouse, see an actual video. I feel like if it's like, if I have AI make the video, why the hell are you guys even subscribed to me? Go subscribe to an AI channel. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like AI. That's just me. It sounds like, reading the chat, it sounds like you guys agree with me.
But can you really think of any, like, entertainment channels like mine that really do this, like even have the budgets to kind of do this kind of stuff. It's something I've always thought a lot about, because like we're really pushing boundaries, and like I want to like keep leveling things up, and I think that's a cool way to do it. But it's not like there's some like playbook on how to like incorporate it, right? Because no one else really does it. Like something I was thinking about is like also we rarely use it. Like I mean maybe like 0.5%, 0.1% of my shots. Like if we have like a background that like doesn't look too cool, like it's just like black but it looks a little off, we'll just like darken it out in post. Like that's like majority of what we do, or sometimes we'll extend a set. But I was thinking like when we do, because we pour millions of dollars into these videos, we build massive sets, like we go through so much links to make these huge videos, and the last thing I want is people to be like questioning whether or not things are CGI. I mean, like the sets we build are fucking crazy, man. Like,
Yeah, dude, Nick is locked and loaded, dude. He's ready for this. Shout out to Nick, man.
like it's
Yeah,
wild.
noticed,
Like you should come see the like behind the scenes of it. I mean, sometimes we spend 100 days just literally building one room for one shot of one video.
That's insane.
So yeah, I was thinking like maybe just potentially, I don't know, this is the first time I'm saying it publicly, like time stamping in the description when we do.
That's interesting.
Yeah, or like having some like gimmicky thing where like whenever we do, we like put like a little Beast logo on it, so it's like a thing that if people wanted to identify, they could. I mean, I'm down to figure something out. I mean, we just don't really use it that much. It's just like a thing few and far between. But what I really don't want is people to not be able to trust my videos just because occasionally I want to make a wall blacker, or like I want to extend a set a little bit just to make it look cooler and like you feel in tune with it. Because what we do on its own is insane. You know what I mean? Like we don't need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to be fair too, you know, I totally get what you're saying, and like the logic for the CGI call doesn't really make a lot of sense to me personally. You know, to me, maybe it would undermine the credibility if you're like changing things genuinely, or like you have an outcome that's the thumbnail and you're only getting it by manipulating. But like there are times in my videos where my head is bigger than my head in real life because my editors make it bigger. That's CGI, right?
Yeah.
The words, the subtitles in your video, they're not real. That's CGI technically.
True. Yeah.
So it's like there's just it's just that one's like a really sort of slippery slope. But I think that's a good idea. If you were to put timestamps, or you know, if you sort of are transparent about AI generative content, that's something that you could do as the biggest content creator in the world to be even more ethical than is really necessary.
Yeah. The only thing is then, which I'm down. Like I want to keep brainstorming these things out. It's just like you said, like I in my head, I didn't even think of text on the bottom as CGI, and like everyone might have a little different definition of it. So I just want to make sure, like, you know, what I would classify as it. Like, and so, but agreed, there's some solution here, or just stop using it. Like it doesn't even matter. Like I mean, we build crazy sets. It's usually just to make them look 1% cooler.
You can figure it out.
Yeah. So there is some answer here. Like that's not a thing that scares me. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. I think people would appreciate the transparency on that as well. Like, because it's, I mean, reality television, it's all extremely manipulative, and I think that's like the basis of it. So if you were to sort of go above and beyond even the worst, you know, whatever competitors that you don't even really have on YouTube, and put like a Beast logo or time.
When did the MrBeast allegations start, guys? Do you guys remember? Was it in October? Because I kind of want to see how it's like kind of like affected his channel, if it has. Let's see real quick. When did it start, guys? July or August? Okay, so let's say it started in July, right? He did get a pretty big dip in subscribers, but he is going back up, I guess. Yeah, I guess it didn't really affect him that much. I mean, by the way, guys, on the lowest ad revenue possible, like literally the lowest possible for MrBeast, he's making $3 million a month off of 3 billion views. $3 million a month. And that's, trust me, he's making 10 times that off of ad revenue, but that's off the lowest CPM. That CPM is basically the cost per minute, so how much money you make per minute of your video. But anyways,
timestamps. I personally think that would be kind of cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that'd be sort of epic. There was an allegation that you use CGI to create the impression that you guys built a hospital, part of a hospital, in order to deceive viewers or manipulate them into believing that you did more than you actually did.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Honestly, truthful, dumb mistake. At the start of one of our Beast Philanthropy videos, they were trying to show what this like building looked like in the past, and in the past that hospital wasn't there, so they removed it in the editing. Which and this is just like a small part of this isn't even like the point of the video was that we built this hospital or whatever. There was just a shot at the beginning, but some people saw that and like thought we did build it, which is not the intention. And so it's just a dumb mistake. Like, trust me, when I saw that, I talked to the editors. I was like, come on, like, I have 100 editors, and obviously we have a bunch of different channels and things like that. So it's hard for me to like speak with all of them, but it was just truthfully a silly mistake. We never said we built that hospital or anything, but I could see how some people.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't really give a shit about that. I want them to get to like some of the more important stuff. Chris Tyson, MrBeast allegedly having, a not so good drawing on his wall and stuff. Cut the bullshit. Let's get to the real stuff. You know what I mean?
People might perceive that we
Yeah,
were
of course.
trying to like give off that we were, and it's a little unfortunate because Beast Philanthropy, my YouTube channel, how do I say this where it's like I'm not trying to like is literally owned by a 501c3. Like, it's a YouTube channel that is a nonprofit, which is crazy. Like, as far as I know, that's the only one. And Beast Philanthropy does so much good, and like that.
Exactly, Blue. You know what the thing is, right? And MrBeast has no reason to do an interview with me. I'm a tiny channel compared to these guys. If I was doing an MrBeast interview, I wouldn't like interrupt him and be hostile and all that, but I would just come out firing. Like, I would just be like, all right, nice to meet you. You ready? All right, cool. So why did you have like that Shadman picture of alleged CP on your wall? Can you tell me that? And I want to see what he says. That's the important shit, guys. I don't give a crap about the CGI in the video. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about that, man? Let's talk about the real shit. Did you know Chris Tyson was allegedly messaging minors? Tell me that. Tell me. That's what I want to know.
What's the only reason people. This is what's funny, because like to the people like trying to call me evil and say we fake philanthropy, the only reason anyone even knows any of this is because we actually did a behind the scenes video on that video. So like clearly I wasn't aware of this because we did BTS and we were the ones who revealed this information. You know what I mean? So like if we were trying to hide things, like we wouldn't have done BTS on that video. That's how people got this information. So it's just like a little mistake, but it's sad because now people are using that to point at our Beast Philanthropy channel, which does a lot. I mean, it will just scroll through the videos. I mean, whether we're building schools in Africa or, giving electricity to remote villages, or we're giving clothes to people who don't have it, or we're feeding people. I mean, it does a lot of really good projects. Now, truthfully, that channel is struggling to get brand deals because of all the slander on it, because everyone, has convinced advertisers that the videos are fake and that it doesn't actually do philanthropy. And it's like, it does. And just like,
okay, it's interesting. This is interesting right here. So MrBeast was talking about people who slandered his philanthropy channel, by saying that they said that he was faking his charity videos. And Oompaville pops up an example of Timeworks. But Timeworks also made a video in support of MrBeast, and then MrBeast commented on that video and thanked him. So I don't know if MrBeast just hasn't seen this video or something. What's up, Runchwater? How you doing? That's a little interesting. So I don't know if MrBeast likes Timeworks or doesn't. I don't know.
that the videos are fake and that it doesn't actually do philanthropy. And it's like, it does. And just like one little editing mistake on one of dozens of videos. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate because it's actually having a pretty severe impact on the charity and its image. And like, I don't know, just unfortunate.
You think the impact is not obviously just the CGI hospital edit, but just the entire situation in general?
No, I mean, of course, the entire general situation, but no, after that hospital thing, a lot of people made videos saying Beast Philanthropy is fake and saying we fake our philanthropy, and it's specifically attacking it. And then, like that whole 100% of the revenue on the charity, on the channel is what we use to fund the charity. And that like spooked off a lot of people because they're like, oh, so this charity is not authentic. Because like obviously people don't want to work with a charity that's not legit, which Beast Philanthropy is as legit as it gets. Just one little editing mistake, which I get now. I'm sounding like I'm downplaying. I mean, it was just a mistake in editing. Doesn't discredit all the projects Beast Philanthropy has done around the world and the tens of thousands of lives has changed. And I mean, yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair admission too, because it's like, and once again, optically, you're the guy who's talking about, spending 26 hours a day looking at data, and every decision, every single frame that's in a video is combed over, and then that is a mistake, obviously, that you're capable of making, your team is capable of making, and like the whole thing is capable of making, and people, they'll compare and contrast.
Thank you, Wrench.
Whether
I
they
appreciate
know or
it.
not. Like they think everything you're doing is 110% deliberate.
Yeah, well, and that's the unfortunate part, because like if someone, again, just to be clear, the only reason anyone even knows is because we did BTS. So I mean, but if that would have happened, 8 months ago, I would have just responded to a tweet saying my bad and just like re-edited it in YouTube Editor and just added a voiceover, and it would have been fine. It's just now that due to those circumstances, everyone's like, we finally got the proof. The philanthropy's fake. He's fake, and like let's tear it out as charity. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's just a silly editing mistake. Like the VO we should just had VO over that clip just saying we didn't build this hospital. But it was also not even the whole point of the video. It's just like if you watch it, it's just a clip at the start. It's literally not even what the video is about.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've mentioned the behind the scenes footage of that, specifically the hospital video in regard to your philanthropy channel. Would you be willing to or consider releasing like more detailed behind the scenes footage or a breakdown of that with the VO you're talking about, or the editors who worked on it and sort of their thoughts and opinions or whatever, because they're the ones working on it, right? Like
on that video specifically.
Or just in general.
Yeah, but that one specifically, I mean, we're owning up to it. I mean, I don't want to put them on blast publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a silly little mistake. Obviously, we talked about how we could prevent it in the future, but I'm sure, shocker, at some point we're going to have some other editing mishap over. Yeah, so, I mean, that's not something I can't guarantee will ever happen again,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, we're doing our best to make sure it doesn't. But in general, I would love to do more behind the scenes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think throughout all this, I think what is causing some of this is like confusion is because there is so much mystery around how we do our videos, because people don't know how we do it. It's like it's almost easier to believe there is this like they're fake or they're rigged, and there's
Finally figured out how to do it, guys. Okay, that should help. By the way, that account that you just banned, Nick, it looks like a hacked account. Look at that guy. He looks like an older gentleman. I don't think that he is sitting on his computer deciding, you know what, I want to say horrible slurs today. So I think that's a hacked account.
he didn't actually build a bunker and put it underground and have two people live in it for 100 days and record the entire time and do all this. It's almost getting to the point where it's easier to believe it's not real. And I think like just having more transparency and doing behind the scenes would help. I've been wanting to do that for a little bit. It's just truthfully, I just got to build the team. I was we're looking into getting some editors and like a person dedicated for doing it, like because we have to like intentionally film those shots.
Right.
A lot of it is like, so we're like building out the team. It's just like it just takes time. Like you even need someone who will make the thumbnails for it, and like I also don't want there to be editing mistakes in this, so I need someone who's doing QC, and that's like a really important thing because I don't want them to post it and make a claim in the BTS that's not true and say, hey, we spent $500,000 in this bunker and it was actually $480,000, right?
Yeah.
Which is these are the little kinds of things that because I have such a large company, people will do, and they think it's innocent, but it's like no, like but at the end of the day, it's my name on it, and so it's like in theory it seems simple, like oh, you're already filming, just throw a BTS, but there's a whole big process in it to make sure that's also true and authentic and good and actually edited well, and so. I mean, I don't know when I'll be able to build out the team and get it right, but I think that will help a lot. If people knew like the effort and work that went into the videos and like just how we do it, I think they would look at it differently and be like, oh, okay, I see.
Guys, I have to pause the video for a second. You know what Nick in blue fighting all these like trolls in the chat reminds me of? Goku and Vegeta versus Meta Cool. It's like a scene from a movie in Dragon Ball Z where it's literally the two of them versus like a million a million coolers. That's Nick in blue right there trying to battle all these bots, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah, and I think to circle back a little bit, I don't think even showing the, in behind the scenes, like if that were to have existed specifically with like the philanthropy stuff or another time where you're adding CGI or whatever, if you had the intention of the people who are doing it, in that behind the scenes footage, it wouldn't be necessarily even putting them on blast or showing any mistake. You would have from the very beginning transparency.
Yeah.
So I think that would be I mean, that would
I'm
be
on
awesome.
the same page here. Hey, if anyone watching this wants to help work on my BTS channel, I'm actually serious. We're actively hiring and trying to figure it out. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I really think that would.
I want to work for MrBeast behind the scenes. We're gonna shoot a video together, and I'm gonna be like, "Great video, Jimmy." So, and then I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder, and I'm gonna be like, "So why'd you buy that Shadman art?" You know, I just want to put it in the behind the scenes, bro. I'm just saying, you know, like, why'd you buy that art? Just asking.
Help a bunch, like just
Yeah.
plus, I just want to show people how we do this stuff. Like it's pretty crazy the stuff we're doing now.
I mean, realistically, it sounds like some of these problems. If like there was just sort of you have the opportunity now to just be like super ethical and hire a couple more teams for transparency and do something that not only the 300 million subscriber YouTuber, but like you are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in terms of like transparency.
Yeah.
Which people really like that type of stuff. Even if they don't
agree.
like search out for it, they just like to see someone who's honest and relatable.
I agree.
And like you guys are really good at this insane MrBeast thing, but like you said, even with sort of talking about the allegations in the beginning.
You know, the funny thing is, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but sometimes live chats will have AI chat summaries. Like AI will describe what happened in the chat, not even the live stream, what happened in the chat. So it'd be funny if it's like, oh, Nick Rumble and iBlue battle against hundreds of bots. We got to make that happen somehow.
You didn't want to make a video where you're just sitting, it just feels cringe and awkward.
Yeah, no.
Like but it makes sense, right? Like I get your perspective and the outsider's perspective. It's cool to see, how it's not cool to see how angry people can get, but it is cool to see that there is a possible answer to those situations, like being super ethical and transparent in a way that nobody else has ever been before.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably do that. So there's evidence that you put your previous employees, friends, whatever, controlled opposition
Yes.
In your challenge videos, such as the 100 boys versus 100 girls video.
Yeah.
Did you put them in that video or videos like that specifically to rig the outcome
Of the challenge.
of the challenge? And if so, do you think that's acceptable, MrBeast?
I know. That one was a big one. Videos talking about my 100 boys versus 100 girls video in the last couple months. That one, people really talked about that one. So yes, Soggy's video, he talked about this and uncovered it. I'm surprised more people didn't. Like my girlfriend after that video literally went on a podcast and described this. So it's not even like this was hidden information. This has been out there.
You were in the video 100 girls versus 100 boys for $500,000.
Yes. On the day, everybody had to go for COVID tests, and a lot of people came, got their COVID tests, and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio, and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, well, I am a female. I guess I could do this 100-hour challenge.
Were you dating at the time?
Yes.
And did the others know you were dating MrBeast at the time?
They pretended that they didn't, but I think some of them caught on.
Did he like move to the side of the circle and just check
No,
up on
he
you?
avoided eye contact at all costs.
But I mean, literally, like she said on the podcast, we had 100 boys, 100 girls. They're competing in a video. Leading up to the video, they're supposed to quarantine. This was years ago when, at the height of COVID. A lot of questions people have about my videos.
I don't know if you guys heard the point that MrBeast just made, but he was basically saying like, like I'm surprised that more people didn't cover some of the stuff that was in Soggy Cereal's video. Remember, like, not everybody is chronically online, and not everybody will watch every single drama video about the MrBeast situation. So some people know some bits of information, some people don't know some bits of information. What would be best is if MrBeast himself released a comprehensive response, and obviously, like I said earlier, he probably has legal ties that doesn't let him speak on it, but yeah. So MrBeast would be the best source of information for MrBeast. I think we can all agree on that.
Like that in these recent things I've noticed, usually the answer is like COVID, like why things aren't as like we would normally do it. But in this instance, they quarantined when they showed up to the studio. A couple people on both sides tested positive for COVID. We didn't have them all in a group. We, isolated, tested. And so now I'm stuck with a tough decision because we have all these people who just took off work for a week and took even more days off work to film this video.
Yeah, I agree, Snacks. But MrBeast said earlier in this video that a lot of the people who made allegations against him didn't want to correct them because they didn't want to look like they were wrong, or they didn't want to look like a MrBeast glazer. if he's telling the truth, you know, and that's a big if, then I would agree with him that that's pretty fucked up that people were willing to throw him under the bus, but when new information came out that proved him right, they weren't willing to correct themselves. That's messed up. That's why I didn't make a lot of videos in the MrBeast situation, because it was so like, there's so much information. I was like, dude, I don't have time to look at all this shit. So I didn't want to say anything that was incorrect. So I made, I think, 2 videos on it. I made 2 videos on the MrBeast specific thing, and then 2 on Chris Tyson. And on those, I did my own research and I made sure what I was saying was true. But, you know, yeah.
You know, a couple people on each side of the 100 girls, 100 boys tested positive for COVID. I can't go grab random people off the street because they haven't quarantined, right? And back then, I think COVID tests are better now, but back then, you know, it took like 2 days for the COVID test to be able to pick up whether or not you had COVID, something like that. Not a doctor. This isn't Joe Rogan. I obviously, bro, no one knows that though, right? I could have just gone and grabbed random people off the street and it would have been fine. But I was trying to like be protective of the contestants. So my employees were routinely quarantining back then because, you know, in the studio and things like that, we didn't want an outbreak. So I just went to the employees who weren't working on the 100 girls versus 100 boys video and was like, hey, I don't want to cancel this video. Who wants to be in it? And so a couple of them volunteered, filled in the empty gaps. My girlfriend quarantined with me, so I threw her in there. And then we got the numbers up. I was good, good. The video's on. And yeah, they were competing for money like everyone else. Transparency, I'll look at the camera. No, they were not there to rig it. I did not tell them what to get out. I did not tell them what to do. They had their own free will. And yeah, I really didn't think too much of it. And, you know, here we are a couple years later, and that's turning into proof that I put employees in videos to rig them and script them, and they're just filling in for some people who got COVID.
Yeah, I think it's another situation in which it's like, sure, there's evidence or whatever of both or whatever. It's like a trust me bro versus a trust me bro.
But this one's not even a trust me bro. Like, I mean, my girlfriend literally years ago said on a podcast all of this, so it's not even like I'm retroactively making this up. I mean,
right.
I could probably go pull up COVID tests and show you. I mean, it's
just in terms of like the interpretation of what people have for that specific event. Like when someone like you or someone with this big thing, people just see who they don't care. They see, oh, he's using his friends. Like, obviously it's fucking rigged, you know, but they're not going to look into it. It's just optically, you know, like there's so many things that it's really easy. Like there's like such a crazy slippery slope for a lot of this stuff.
And it's like, the thing is, I mean, I could have been like, oh, people got COVID and canceled it. And then we'd be sitting here talking about how I had these people quarantined for 7 days and then I just rug pulled them. You know what I mean? And so like, it's a little bit of damned if you, damned if you don't. Like either way, I'd be sitting here talking to you about it, you know? So I just tried to take.
I think it's a good time to take a vote right now. I'm going to make a poll in the chat real quick if I can figure out how to do it. We're going to make a poll. Do you think MrBeast is being genuine in this video? Leave either yes, no, or kinda. There you go. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. Is MrBeast being genuine in this video? Yes, no, or kinda? I feel like he does seem actually pretty comfortable. The only thing that he's doing right now that makes me think he's kind of nervous is when he gets asked a question, he gives like the Gettysburg Address, Emancipation Proclamation, biggest speech of all time. So if I was, you know, saying something about trying to prove my innocence, I would want to try to be concise, you know, like, hey, this is what happened. Here's my proof. My girlfriend made a video years ago, so that should prove it. That's just what I think, right? I have a dream, asked YouTuber. Yeah, it's very long, drawn out answers, and I know he wants to be thorough, but you gotta be more concise, in my opinion.
Take the most ethical, moral stance, and you know, prioritize health.
Oh yeah, Snacks, I agree. Oompa isn't really pressing him at all. I mean, like I said at the beginning, not the beginning, but maybe like 20 to 30 minutes ago, and I think you guys agree with me on this. If I was Oompa, I would sit him down, shake his hand, nice to meet you, and then I would just get right into the whole Chris Tyson thing, because that's the most important thing. Chris Tyson, the alleged, you know, bad art that he bought. I can't say the word, otherwise I'm going to get demonetized, but bad art that he had bought from Shadman that just had bad drawings. I can't even fucking describe this because I'm gonna get demonetized. But you guys know what I mean. I would have started off with the more serious stuff. Like Oompa's over here asking him about CGI. Who gives a fuck about the CGI, man? I don't give a shit about that. Let's get into the real stuff. I think you guys would agree.
And yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I
think
mean,
that's
you
fair.
hopefully now that people hear the truth, they agree as well. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's been brutal hearing that misinformation be spread.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine that, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of people who really do not like you at all.
Bouncing Ball, thank you for the membership. I appreciate it. I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah.
How does it feel in real life? Do you feel it in real life at all, or is it just internet?
No, it's just the internet. We talked a little bit before this. I mean, also, it's late at night. I just flew here to do this. This is a very impromptu thing.
Yeah.
But for like the 10 minutes we were talking before we started recording, I was telling him, like, no one in real life has any idea of any of this. Like, I meet hundreds of people, and they're all just like, yo, what's up, MrBeast? They never bring it up.
Yeah.
But then you would open up Reddit. I mean, it doesn't help that they're censoring positive posts, but and you would think, well, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, that does make sense. You would think everyone hates me because anyone who doesn't, their post gets deleted. So actually, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's like, and even some of the YouTubers that I know, like you mentioned sending a clip to YouTubers, and they're like, well, it's just not cool. I don't want to be seen as a MrBeast glazer. I mean, even the...
Yeah, I agree, Flaming Gamer. It's like, it's almost like he's trying to save it as a climax. I mean, how long has this video been out? It's been an hour, so nobody has seen the full video yet. But I wouldn't start off like with the... you know, the boring stuff. I would start off with the interesting stuff. Somebody's asked me to speed up the video. Do you guys want me to speed up the video a little bit? Like 1.5 speed? Okay, shit, I gotta do another poll, man. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make another poll. I have to stop this poll first, right? Okay, let me make a poll real quick. Should I speed up the video a bit? Yes or no? I'm still trying to figure out the stream and stuff, guys. Okay. Bro's a pole dancer. Good lord. Can I get a different title? I don't want to be a pole dancer. Okay. Okay, so sounds like a yes. Okay, we're going to go 1.5. If it sounds weird, I'm going to put it back to 1.2.
The sort of feelings amongst YouTubers, the people who their responsibility is to, well, responsibility, very
Yeah, I think that sounds fine, right? 1.5, yeah.
loose use of the term, to talk about anything online or whatever, you know, even they're afraid, or they just don't want, like, so it's just the internet. There's this really weird, you know, the sort of echo chamber. Not that, obviously, everything that you've done.
Thank you for the gifted memberships, Bouncing Ball. Blue, you got some competition over here. I'm kidding. But thank you both. I appreciate you guys.
Can just be swept under the rug. I mean, you've admitted to mistakes. I think that everything that you that is a genuine mistake, you once again have the most to gain from all this. So it's not gonna fucking hurt you to just admit where you're wrong or whatever. Yeah, I think that that's a very interesting one, the 100 boys versus 100 girls video, because to me, without looking into it at all, it's like that does seem weird, right? Like it just seems like once again a conflict of interest. But at the same time, you're making YouTube videos. You're not making, like, I don't know. You can endlessly make excuses.
Hey,
for it.
Bouncing Ball, I appreciate you. Wow, thank you so much. So you got a membership, and now you've gifted 6 memberships. Thank you so much. Blue is at, I think, 80 gifted memberships. So Blue is literally the godfather over here. Blue drinks his coffee with his pinky near his mouth. Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Blue. Membership gifting battle going on over here. You know what? Screw this MrBeast stuff. This is more important. Thank you both. I appreciate you guys so much.
And against it, it seems like. That's why I'm saying it's kind of...
I mean, I think between like the contestants and people who give stuff to in videos, like pretty confidently say like less than 1% of it's employees. So, you know, if you were to take everyone who's ever been in the video, so like we're like, and a lot of it was, like I said, during the COVID time, where it's just like, well, I'm trying to be responsible. Anyway. So it's like, I mean, yeah. I think when you look at it through those lenses, I feel like any rational person would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. Okay, so now on to the response to critics. So the first person really to respond to critics was Chucky. But the second person, it seemed like, was Soggy Cereal, YouTuber, commentary YouTuber. And he made...
Thank you, Blue. Man, you guys are so nice. W's in the chat for both Blue and Bouncing Ball. Appreciate both you guys. And I appreciate everybody who's here in general. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Yeah, you guys are all legends.
A video, and he's been, that video is sort of blowing up a little bit. It's not quite to the level of Dogpack's video when it first came out, but it's, it's coming up, and he did his best to disprove a lot of Dogpack's claims, and even held you accountable for a lot of stuff in his video, which I thought was good. I thought his video was pretty good. I liked his video a lot, and I like him a lot. I've talked to him since that came out. I've talked to him a couple times. Yeah, he has criticized you today and last night, I think, to sort of timestamp when this video is being recorded so people know. He said, so I guess criticized you sharing his video with other YouTubers.
Okay, this part is actually pretty interesting. So basically, long story short, if you guys didn't know, Soggy Cereal is a commentary YouTuber that made a video that was kind of in defense of MrBeast, where he did criticize MrBeast for a few things, but he was trying to refute Dogpack, who made all the main claims against MrBeast. And then MrBeast started taking Soggy Cereal's video and using it as a response to other people who criticized him. So instead of making his own response, he was just using Soggy Cereal's video. And then Soggy Cereal got upset that MrBeast is using his video as a response instead of making his own response. So MrBeast is about to respond to that now, I guess.
YouTubers as a way to shield yourself from criticism, like deeming the video to people. He also expressed feeling used by you, given that you used his video as a strategy to gather favor.
You don't understand what they're saying? I can slow it down a little bit. I'll put it down to 1.25. Hopefully that's better.
Public, which, that's pretty wordy. It's like it just happened today. It's got to be something like, how do you feel about him feeling that way? Because he's not really defending you. He's more so trying to hold like the truth, which I appreciate that massively. And I do, talking to him, I do believe that he is an honest guy. How do you interpret his responses on Twitter if you've seen them? Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay.
I interpret it as him just trying to be honest with his audience and just expressing how he feels. And I think, obviously he probably, in his head, if he was even being more honest, he'd probably be like, Jimmy, why don't you just say these things? Why am I saying it? And I think, obviously, now that I'm here and doing this, that will alleviate it. But I can see how it feels. Like, obviously, I saw that video and it, disproved. I mean, there are some things in there I don't agree with, and he does go pretty hard on me, so which people seem to forget. But there are a lot of things in there that he disproved. And yeah, I mean, I got excited and shot it over to a bunch of creators who covered the false information and was just like, look, I could see how, that looks like I'm hiding behind it. Luckily, I'm here talking to you. So I don't think that'll be a problem anymore. But obviously, he's not, when he tweeted that, he, doesn't know we were doing this.
Thank you, Flamin' Gamer. Appreciate it.
You talk to him. But so like, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? It's a reasonable thing. Like, I think if I were to read a little between lines, he's just saying like, I don't want to be a shield. Jimmy, say something. You know what I mean? Like, actually go address things. And like,
because he's really not defending you. He's just disproving Dogpack. Like that.
Exactly.
That's the primary kind of driver, or that's how I interpreted his video. I was like, oh, this is pretty balanced. I like him. He's a cool dude. So
he didn't go with the grain and disproved a lot of things.
Yes, Dyna Spinner. I am watching Dragon Ball Daima. I just watched a new episode today. You guys got to be careful asking me about Dragon Ball though, because I'll stop this whole stream right now just to talk about Dragon Ball.
But yeah, also went kind of hard on me too. So, but yeah.
He's not a big fan of Lunchley.
He's not. That's one thing for sure. He does not like Lunchley.
Wait, I mean, speaking of Lunchley, hopefully, like, have they addressed the whole mold thing? Because, I think I heard, like, Logan saying that the mold is only on a few products for Lunchley. Like, it's very rare. But still, like, they should acknowledge that, hey, we've had mold in some of our products. We're going to take a look at it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Commenting on his video, you left a comment on Soggy's video after it was posted. You said, this is finally a video that doesn't spread baseless slander about me.
Yeah, I mean,
lol.
obviously that was a stupid comment, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, how do you think that looks? I mean...
Yeah, dumb. Agreed.
Okay.
Especially the LOL that just,
Yeah.
Next question, dumb.
Yeah.
The answer, dumb, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that what we can kind of, like, get from this is MrBeast is pretty impulsive. Like, because leaving that type of comment was, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it was very impulsive. Like, I feel like he doesn't really think that much before he does things, but that's just my opinion.
Fair, yeah, I guess so. So yeah, it's like it kind of gives weight to you sort of taking the situation lightly. Like if anybody should be taking the situation lightly, it should be like me or Soggy or people like people who aren't actively involved in the situation. How would you put that worry, that concern at ease for someone who's like willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, which I think is super important. And you say something like that, and then it seems like you are taking the situation in general lightly.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good question. I mean honestly, there's just a lot of disinformation that was correct in that video. And I just wrote that comment, and then right afterwards sent it to a couple of YouTubers, which because just like finally this this thing is here. But I agree. Like dumb comment.
legal and ethical issues. I feel like this is probably going to be a little bit more sort of. We're going to need some facts on screen to back up like whatever's being said here, just to because like there's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
So, and Soggy did a good job of sort of disproving a lot of these claims just in general, or giving weight to ones that deserve to have weight given to them.
Yeah.
So
Take care,
watching the video,
Atlas.
obviously, he did a lot of work on this stuff. So Dawson claimed that you ran multiple illegal lotteries, and in Soggy's video, he sort of I think disproved 2,
Yes.
and then 1 he still believes was an illegal lottery.
Yes.
Do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery? Did you believe at the time? What was your mindset? Did you check with the FCC? Was there any compliance, any steps taken to prevent this? What is your just perspective on that?
Yes. So
Thank you, the cool dudes. I appreciate that. In case you guys didn't know, I think 2 days ago marked my 7 years on YouTube for this channel. I started my first channel in 2012, but for Deep Humor, I started in 2017. So yeah, 7 years. It's crazy. Thank you all for sticking around, whether you subscribed a long time ago or recently.
I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. He disproved the 2, which I mean, those were crazy. I don't want to just like speculate. I have a team looking into it. I don't think we did though. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason, like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund. Maybe just throw it on the screen here.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at the moment, that's all I really have to say. Maybe I could do a follow up in the future. I'm trying to dig up all the footage from that live stream. This was like many years ago. Like this isn't like something I did 3 months ago.
Yeah, COVID. It was 2020, right?
I don't remember.
I think the first one, the questionable one that Soggy had in his video was in 2020. I think it was in August 2020.
And I just don't have the footage from him.
Yeah, nostalgia. YS nostalgia. I don't like making it subs only chat, but I had to do it because we were having a little situation. But Link No Blade Games. Happy late birthday to your dad, buddy.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking him up.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think. I think at the very least, if people felt misled or whatever, or if it
100% request a refund. I mean,
definitely.
we do that anyways. Like on our site, if people want refunds, we give it to them. But
Thank
for
you
this
to
specific,
everybody.
Give your URL, throw it right here. I mean, I have no idea what it'll be, and yeah, just send us your order code. Really, no big deal.
Cool. The investigation confirmed. So the
Okay, I'm gonna refresh the video real quick. We're at 58:22, right? I just want to see, like, is he gonna talk about the Chris Tyson thing or the Shadman thing? Oh, here we go, guys. Timestamp right here, 2:17. He admits to seeing the inappropriate drawing from Chris Tyson in his house. He acts like he doesn't know what it is, but your eyes don't lie. It's obvious what it is. How can you claim it's just like any other anime poster and dismiss it as weird? What kind of gaslighting is this? This is the same guy who thought hiring someone from Delaware was too crazy because his mom would think it's odd. All right, let's go to this part. I think you guys all agree, all right? Let's skip to this part. I want that. That's the part I really want to. That's the part I really want to look at. 2:17, bro. They in the last 20 minutes is when they actually addressed pretty much what you would argue is the most important thing. Okay, can you guys remind me? I was at 58:22, but I'm gonna start watching from here because I want to hear about the Chris Tyson thing. Why is he in a phone? Why is he in a phone call now? Let's go a little bit backwards. Let's finish out like the last 20 minutes.
Something else drops. It's like, oh, why did they talk about that?
good point. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
That sounds good.
I'm gonna show him episode 1 of Beast Games.
Okay.
December 19th. I'm kidding.
Isn't that the game that like everyone got injured? I don't know. All right, anyways.
I feel like that's pretty MrBeast build. That last part was completely wrong. We did miss a few questions, and I called Jimmy the next morning to get clarification on a few more things, specifically Ava Shadman and some more of the crypto.
Okay, so here's my problem, right? No, I'm not trying to come after Oompaville, right? But Oompa just said that he forgot some things to mention. How do you forget about Chris Tyson and the Shadman thing? How do you forget about that? That should have been number 1 on your question list. Am I wrong here? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. He just said he forgot to ask, or he forgot to get clarification on the Chris Tyson Shadman thing. How? How do you forget to ask that? That's like one of the most important questions. That's like if I interviewed R. Kelly and I just don't mention the fact that he, was doing things with kids. What the fuck? How do you forget that? I don't know. Okay, let's listen to what he has to say.
allegations. Here is that footage. We'll talk a little bit about Ava Tyson and specifically the Shadman stuff. I know we talked about the third-party investigation, which found no wrongdoing in like a legal sense from that perspective. A thing that a lot of people care about is Shadman's a fucking freak and is a disgusting person. Did you know about the painting in? Did you know about that? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation?
Oh, okay. Slow down the video to normal speed. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, for this. Let's go to normal speed real quick.
About the painting in? Did you know about that? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation to that, and specifically that relationship between Shadman and Ava Tyson and you?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good follow-up question. So this is what it was like. I don't remember these 7, 8 years ago. Back then, I used to have like a bunch of anime posters up on the wall. I'm just like set a foundation for context. We used to have a bunch of anime posters and things like that on our wall in the house. And one day, Ava put up this poster that was like an animated character holding a fidget spinner and a gun. Admittedly, it was a weird image. I didn't know who made it. You know, I just kind of assumed it was a meme. I obviously did not know.
So he said, admittedly, it's a weird image, meaning he does know the image and he did see it. I mean, there's a photo of him looking at it that went viral. So, okay.
Who Shadman was. I've never spoken with Shadman. I did not buy the poster or commission it or anything. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously. And yeah, knowing what I know about
What was the anime character clothed? I don't want to speak on this too much because I didn't seek out the photo because I don't want to look at that type of stuff. Was the anime character clothed? It was a kid, right? Wasn't it a kid? It was like from what I remember, what everyone was saying, it was like a child. Like an anime drawing of a child who was, what the fuck? What does he mean it was clothed? Wait, let me make sure I heard what he said properly. Let me turn on subtitles real quick.
think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously.
That was clothed, obviously? Was it clothed? I mean, you guys are saying it's barely clothed. But the way he said it, it's almost like it was fully clothed. Surely this is not like a debatable thing. Surely it was either barely clothed or it was clothed. But either way, it was of a child, no? So that's still weird. I mean, he acknowledges it was weird. I don't know. I feel like this is a weird, like, it's kind of a weird, I don't know. You guys agree, right? It seemed a little weird the way he was saying that.
And yeah, knowing what I know about Shadman now, it was a very weird thing to buy. I'm not really sure why she bought it, to be frank. And yeah, I mean, I wish I could give more details. I mean, this was so long ago. Obviously, I don't know the like exact thoughts going through my head, but I just remember, like, I agree, it is a little bit of a weird poster. But I also think, like, you know, I had like Naruto posters up, or I had like Code Geass posters, like random animes I used to watch, and like, you know, I never like reversed image search and Googled, oh, who made this Code Geass anime poster?
Yeah, no, but why would you reverse image search a Naruto poster? That would be normal. It was probably of Naruto and Sasuke fighting or something. Of course, you might want to reverse image search a weird ass photo of allegedly a child. I feel like that's a shit argument, right? Yay or nay in the chat. I feel like that's a shit argument. So basically he's saying, okay, I have Naruto and Code Geass posters in my wall, but I never thought to reverse image search it to see who made it. Yeah, why would you? Because they were normal photos. Whereas if you have a weird ass photo that you just acknowledged is weird, yeah, you might want to look into one, who made that, and two, maybe don't put it on your wall in the first place. I mean, dude, if it was a fucking weird photo, why would you want that on your wall? Or Ava's wall, or whoever's wall. Yeah, it seems a little sus, a little suspicious to me. And if I was Oompa, I would say, and hopefully Oompa challenges him on this, I would say, well, surely you wouldn't want that poster on your wall to begin with, no? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Poster that's sitting on the wall or whatever. I don't, you know, I don't. Your first instincts when you just see a poster is not to just go, who made that, and deep dive them. So
yeah, are they?
Yeah, but you might want to take it down though if it's a weird poster. I don't know. I wouldn't want weird shit like that on my wall. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I agree. It's her buying it is very weird, and I obviously, if I had known what I know now, I would have been like, "What the actual fuck?"
Yeah, that's fair. Because I also, after all this stuff, I didn't know who Shadman was. I've heard of him a little bit on Twitter and shit, but I didn't know. Total ignorance there. So okay, and that's just one that's important. You know, people, because that's fucked up. That guy is disgusting. And you know, people do care. It's like you've got pedo art, and you were saying you didn't know. That's yeah, it's disgusting. Fucking Shadman is a freak. So. Okay, you said that I was manipulated by Dogpack. But before that, you said that you DM'd some commentary guys or some YouTubers like evidence of like the Delaware stuff, basically context. And I just wanted to know, so you did reach out to me. We talked a little bit in the very beginning. You know, it wasn't.
And another thing I want to point out, and for those of you guys who've been watching this video, I think you guys can agree, when he was talking in person, he seemed pretty like, I mean, yeah, maybe he was a little shifty, a little nervous, but he seemed pretty articulate. He wasn't really stuttering. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but that like, you know, minute of him talking about the Shadman art, he seemed a little shaken up. I mean, I could be, I'm an armchair psychologist here. I could be wrong, but he seemed a little, his teeth were chatting a little bit. It was like when a cartoon character gets scared or something. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Like we're friends or anything like that, but it was very short, and like I just wanted to know why you didn't give me that stuff or provide me with any information when I was the biggest channel platforming Dogpack. I think that, you know, I would have taken it under as my responsibility to I hope people, you know, would believe that I want to do what's truthful and I want to show the actual facts of a situation. I don't just want to like shit on MrBeast for the sake of shitting on MrBeast. I just wanted to know why early on you didn't provide me I guess specifically, why wasn't that? Did you think I was a controlled op? You know, I would have gladly seen whatever you would have shown.
That's actually a great question. I mean, we did have a call. I called you after the videos and I told you and explained to you a lot of things that weren't true. You're right. I didn't send you that Delaware photo. I guess I might not have even like had that photo at the time, because I think I literally called you right after you posted.
Yeah.
But I did tell you a lot of things weren't true, and you know, explain a lot of things. I mean, but yeah, agreed. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I didn't send you any cold hard evidence. Maybe I guess I was a little hesitant because, you know,
look whose video is recommended right there. Who's that guy? He seems kind of cool.
You did speak with him, and it did seem like, you know, you were going a little easy on him. So I guess I didn't fully know. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I did send it to people. Why I didn't send that to you? Honestly, I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair, and it's just, you know, because I would have appreciated is all I'm saying, because like, you know, in the very beginning, I did genuinely believe that, you know, I like the idea of whistleblowers. I think people should be able to criticize the guy. You're the guy. We said that a lot yesterday, and you did refute a lot of stuff, but there was just I didn't get any sort of evidence or anything like that. It's just, I think it's a lot of, you know, a lot of this mistake.
Yeah, I think in my head is I just called you, was like, hey, off the top of my dome, here's a bunch of things that aren't true. And then you just said, hey, you probably did say something along the lines of I need evidence. And then, you know, at the time, that's where it's just like, this is all a blur. I don't even remember what days it was.
Yeah.
Maybe back then was like when I was working on my response video or whatever. But agreed. Like, I don't think you did anything wrong. Like I didn't send you like, oh, here's a doc of everything. You know what I mean? And then you just ignored it.
Right.
Yeah. So
because I mean,
I probably should have.
No, you know, and I'm not trying to like guilt you or whatever. It's just, you know, this whole thing is really crazy, and it seems like it's gone so far just because, you know, you tried to do what was right, which is have a third party investigation, and like a lot of this stuff is just because like the information wasn't conveniently accessible to YouTube, which is like a really big problem in a weird way. It's like it was like we're suffering from trying to do it right, but also suffering from people not having convenient access to like just a doc or something, like a doc of information. Just So, I mean, I guess in the future, hopefully this, anything that's disproven or
I'm not trying to be a dickhead, guys. This is just my opinion. Tell me if you agree or disagree. But like, I feel like the only time Oompa has now pressed MrBeast is when MrBeast didn't reach out to Oompa first before MrBeast criticized him. This seems like the only time that Oompa has actually criticized him. And remember, I didn't watch the entire video, but we were like, what, a good hour in? Oompa didn't press MrBeast on anything. And now Oompa's pressing MrBeast a little bit, and he's pressing him basically saying like, hey, why didn't you reach out to me first? Or why didn't you reach out to me at all? I don't know. That's just how I think.
that is not true, obviously is no longer propagated. And like everything else that is important is credible. But yeah, dude, I feel like in the future, if you've got evidence, show me or somebody, or just like a Google Doc. I mean, because you didn't make me sign an NDA or anything like that. I've consistently mentioned that because I think it's really important. And I feel like there is a level of transparency you're operating with, which I respect. And, yeah, I feel like this wouldn't have been as bad earlier on if like that, that's sort of the approach, which is tough. You've obviously never been through this, and this is not, there's only one MrBeast. So, but yeah, it's just something I wanted to clarify because, you feel like I was manipulated, and I genuinely, and a lot of other YouTubers as well, I'm sure, commentary guys probably don't feel like they're manipulated. It's just a drastically different perspective. You are MrBeast, so it's tough to say, not to say I deserve the benefit of the doubt or whatever. I absolutely should have researched more. But once again, it's a bigger problem, I feel like, that I think hopefully will be mitigated more in the future by this all coming out. And hopefully how transparent this video that I'm making right now with you is.
Yep, all fair points.
Cool. Okay, so now a little bit more on the crypto stuff. I know I talked about CoffeeZilla a little bit yesterday. He's awesome. I think he does really good work on YouTube, and he holds people accountable. And it's just impressive. He does actual real investigatory work. Like, he's not the guy who makes videos out of convenience like most of other, like me and a bunch of other commentary YouTubers. So
I like his name on his phone, Jimmy Beast. Not MrBeast, not Jimmy from MrBeast, Jimmy Beast.
I feel like it's my responsibility to ask some more questions about the crypto stuff, because we sort of glossed over it a little bit yesterday. And it's one of those things where it's note heavy, receipt heavy. So, if you don't know something, you just let me know. And
by the way,
if
guys,
you have to go,
we're gonna finish the rest of this, and then I'm gonna give you guys what I think about the whole thing. I'm about to go off here. Yeah. I feel like there is a lot that needs to be said, but we'll finish this first.
find information or whatever to back up what you're saying. I don't expect you're like a politician and have all your fucking, we're not debating philosophy or politics. Like, I don't expect you to have everything at your left hand. I understand you're busy. So, if there's information you can provide so we can put it in post, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So first one is Wu-Tang. You have said that you do not control the Wu-Tang wallet. You said that last night. You said that a friend did it. You said you didn't know what Wu-Tang was.
A fund did it, yes, not a friend.
Right. Okay, a fund. Okay. On a podcast with Logan Paul about CryptoPunks, you talk about a call you had with Mr. Gary, where you claim to have bought and or sold CryptoPunks, but then later decided to roll the money into VFriends. And this is all like video, obviously. And this trading activity all happened within the Wu-Tang wallet, which we talked about last night.
Yes.
So if it was your decision, if semantically, if what you're talking about on the podcast, if it was your decision, your trading decision to buy and sell the punks or VFriends, even though you didn't press the buttons, was it actually your decision? Did you press the button? Did you not press the button? Was it your decision? And if it was your decision, and even if you didn't press the button, it still, to me, would mean that you had control of those trading decisions.
Yeah, these are good questions. Actually, I'm glad we're doing this follow-up thing so we can also just put all this stuff out there. So, yeah, I did say that in the podcast, and I obviously did not press the buttons. Like I've been saying, I didn't pick what punks to buy or anything. Gary Vee, like I said on that podcast, called me and a bunch of other people, said CryptoPunks were the next big thing. I thought it was pretty crazy, but the first thing I did right after that is just called the guy in charge of the fund who invested my money and it's other people's money as well, and just said, hey, Gary Vee seemed very passionate about these punks. You should look into it. If it makes sense, buy it. And so, you know, he did the research, picked what punks to buy, bought them. I don't even truthfully know how to buy punks. I've never bought one, like me personally.
Okay.
Like I've said, I don't have access to that wallet. So, I mean, in other transparency, like that's kind of high level how it went. But you know, if he was like, "Oh, this is a shit investment," then he wouldn't have bought them. So he, you know, he was the one who was doing the buying and selling and managing things.
Okay. But you did make some decisions to buy or sell in the Wu-Tang Fund.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just told him like, "Hey, Gary," like in transparency, Gary called me about CryptoPunks and said they're cool. Look into it. I mean, so at the end of the day, bro, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know which punks to buy or which ones we should buy if it's a good investment. Like, that's why I, you know, put the money in a fund and had professionals managing it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, they're stupid as shit. I don't like any of the NFT stuff. I'm glad that's all kind of come and gone now. I like the newer era we're in. Okay, so next is the super tweet, the super coin tweet. For context, on May 12th, 2021, you, MrBeast, tweeted in response to it was an Elio Trades tweet. There's a gym sitting there on the market at an eye-watering price set to explode during DeFi Summer 2.0. And then you responded by saying super ? With a crazy emoji. So why did you not disclose that you had a vested interest in the coin?
All right, guys, I'm going to be honest. I've been trying so hard to pay attention to this crypto part, but I honestly don't care about it. I mean, maybe he did a pump dump, whatever. Maybe whatever. I mean, CoffeeZilla can handle that. I'm so bored from this part. So I'm just gonna give you my overall thoughts on the podcast or whatever this is now, this interview. So basically, before I criticize Oompa, I want him to say this part again, just so I just so I know exactly what he said again.
Pretty MrBeast build. That last part was completely wrong. We did miss a few questions, and I called Jimmy the next morning to get clarification on a few more things, specifically Ava Shadman.
So that is my main criticism for Oompa in this video. I have a minor criticism for him and a big one. The minor criticism for Oompa, if you guys watch the stream, you guys would know, he really didn't press MrBeast at all on pretty much anything, except for that last part when he was like, yeah, why didn't you give me more of a benefit of the doubt on something, right? Something like that. My main criticism for him, and the big one, is how the hell, and he just admitted it, you guys just heard it when I played the video, how the hell did you forget to ask him about Chris Tyson? How the hell did you forget to ask him about the Shadman thing? You know, obviously he ended up calling him later, right? I guess that's better than nothing, but dude, if I'm doing an interview with MrBeast, like I said, man, that's like the first thing you got to ask him. That's like the most important thing, right? I don't know. I feel like that's a ridiculous mistake, right? I don't know. It's like me interviewing fucking Neil Armstrong and then forgetting to ask him about him landing on the moon. It's like, what the fuck? How'd you forget the main thing? You know, like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys agree, but dude, overall, you know, I didn't watch the entire interview because I'm not going to sit here for 2.5 hours and watch the whole thing. I mean, I did already sit here for 2 hours, but I was pausing in between. But anyways, MrBeast seemed, for the most part, like he seemed pretty calm in person. But that part at the end there when he was on the phone and Oompa was criticizing, or no, talking about the Chris Tyson thing, that was when he seemed a little nervous, in my opinion, right? But yeah, you know, it's hard to tell. I think that MrBeast needs to make a video, like, you know, it doesn't have to be on his main channel where all the kids watch. He can do it on Twitter or something. But yeah, it's tough. This is a rough situation with a lot of allegations. That's why I didn't really make too many videos on it, because it's so much information, man. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think. Ava Chris Tyson thing was the main allegation. Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, like, how do you forget to ask him that? It's such a, I feel like that's such a ridiculous thing, you know? Yeah, it was more of a talk than a confession. Yeah. Yeah. At least he responded somewhat. Yeah, I agree. He did admit that he waited too long, and he did wait way too long. MrBeast definitely owes himself to make another video. Yeah, I agree, because if he made like a direct response to if he did make like a direct response to Dogpack, I think that would have worked really well for him. He wouldn't have had to put it on his YouTube. But you know, again, maybe his lawyers asked him not to. It's a When it gets to litigation, when it gets to legal things, yeah, it's rough. He waited to see if the waters would calm down, and it didn't, so he acted like it was an accident. Yeah, that's possible. You know, Jimmy was so scared. On the phone, yeah, he definitely seemed a little shaken up. But again, I'm not a psychologist. That's just a theory, a game theory. It does bother me the main issues at hand were not brought up at an in-person interview. What was discussed in person is like the little stuff of non-consequence. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like Oompa sat him down and started talking about CGI. I mean, in fairness, I guess people were criticizing him on that, but I'm more concerned about everything else. Yeah, it's feel like he should have made his own video. Yeah, I agree. But again, maybe his lawyers asked him not to. Right when lawyers get involved, dude, it's rough. Let me see. Okay, you know what? Let's use YouTube's feature that they made. Do they still have the timed comments feature? Did they get rid of that? Okay, well, let's go look for some timestamps. Maybe there's something we missed. What a terrifying sentence. What's a terrifying sentence? Oh, there's an ad. Oh, what the hell's going on?
About, or, you know, the editors who worked on it and sort of their thoughts and opinions.
Oh my God, dude. We're about to, we're on AdTube right now.
What the video's about.
So you mentioned the behind the scenes footage.
Timestamps are only available on mobile? Okay. I want to see what this person is talking about when they say that that was a terrifying sentence. Oh my God, dude.
He's vague.
Did I get to the Ava part? Yeah, we just watched it. We literally just watched it like 10 minutes ago. Person would have been better to address the main allegations. Yeah, I agree. Dude, I can't get to that part because of the ads, man. Okay. Hey, Scream, how you doing? Okay, see what everyone thinks about this. A lot of these comments aren't serious. I was hoping for, I mean, I love joke comments, but I was hoping for some serious, like, thank you, Yeet. Welcome to the channel. Okay, here we go. I mean, I think this is a timestamp that we, no, this is the one that we already saw. Okay, the funny thing is there are going to be commentary channels that are going to milk like 5 videos out of this. It's insane. Okay. MrBeast should be in politics. He has a non-answer for everything, but on the surface, it sounds like it makes sense. What's up, Awesome? How you doing? Okay, here we go. Very irresponsible. You should have said that you're not operating the wall. Oh, this is about the crypto thing. Dude, honestly, man, I don't know enough about crypto to give my opinions on it. I'm glad Oompa is the one who gets to make this video. I'll have to watch this whole thing on my own time, but dude, I can't handle the crypto parts. It's just so boring. I just don't understand crypto. I'm dumb. All right, well, I'll leave like the last 5 minutes to you guys. Just let me hear some of your guys' thoughts. You know what? Let's do one of our famous polls. We do a million of them. Was MrBeast's response good? Yes. No. Yeah, no, we're just gonna leave it at yes and no. I want to force you guys to pick between yes and no. No maybes, just yes and no. There you go. Let's do a poll. I just feel like, you know, you gotta press them a little bit on certain things. Now here's the thing, right? You can press somebody without being a dickhead to them, because I feel like a lot of times when people do interviews where they kind of ambush somebody with a lot of questions, they're usually pretty hostile about it. I would want, like, if somebody was pressing MrBeast, because Oompa really didn't, I would want them to still be reasonable. You know, like, for example, I'll use myself, right? If I was to do this interview with MrBeast, I wouldn't sit him down and be like, all right, bitch, get ready to get fucking cooked. No, I would just be like, all right, you know, we've got some stuff to get through, so let's get to it. First question I would have asked would have been about Chris, Shadman, that whole thing. That would have been question number one, because that is like the most important and famous allegation against MrBeast, is that MrBeast tried to sweep the Chris Tyson things under the rug, you know? So, yeah, that's what I would do. I think it's really crazy how huge your channel is because of deep humor drama. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a situation on its own. So it sounds like you guys think that MrBeast didn't have a good response, or at least most of you guys. Hey, Connor, how you doing? Take care, Heather. Thanks for stopping by. I love the Dragon Ball reference, Flaming Gamer. So many missing questions which left unanswered that should be addressed. Like what? Well, yeah, you know what? That's a good topic. What would you guys have asked MrBeast, or what would you guys want him to talk about? What are some things that you guys feel like he should have addressed? Shad, Chris, lottery. Yeah, he did at the end. He mentioned that at the end, like way at the end. And Oompa says that there were some questions that he missed. And it was the Shad, Chris thing and the lottery thing, which are arguably the two most important allegations against. Cease and desist. Yeah, the cease and desist letter. Yeah, that would have been a good thing to mention. Feastables mold. Yeah. You should have mentioned the Lunchly mold. I mean, maybe he did. I didn't watch the whole thing. MrBeast game stuff. I think that they did talk about that. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, like when it comes to crypto shit, like when it gets to that, I need somebody to like give me like a spark notes of what they're talking about, because I don't understand crypto at all. You didn't watch the whole thing? Yeah, I didn't have to know that he missed talking about Chris Tyson and Shadman, because Oompa himself said that. So I didn't have to watch the whole thing to know that. He literally just said that himself, that he missed some questions. Do you wish Jimmy talked more about Ava? Yeah, I think they should have had more time to that. It sounded like he didn't even really... I mean, I guess he did address that situation on itself on Twitter. Who said he did? Who said that he talked about Chris Tyson? Wait, what? I didn't say that MrBeast talked about Chris Tyson in this interview. I was talking about on Twitter. MrBeast talked about Chris Tyson near the end, and Oompa said he forgot to ask him about it. I think we're misunderstanding each other. MrBeast or his team got into some crypto before his release, advertised it. They sold, making massive. Oh, okay, so he like did like a, they call it like a pump and dump, right? So you're all good, WOAP. WAP. I don't know how to say your name. Tell me how to say it. Apparently Jimmy hired a PDF. Yeah, it was like, I think it was like someone who... Yeah, I don't want to speak on that. I don't know too much about that. Basically, I just wish that they spent more time on the Chris Tyson thing, you know, and the Shadman thing. All right. I'll probably sign out here, guys. Okay, well, thank you to everybody who joined the stream. Let me know what you guys think. I know some of you guys are asking me to make a video on the MrBeast thing, but I kind of feel like I don't really want to talk about it in a video. I just wanted to watch this interview live because I was about to watch it, and then the abuse. What abuse? On one of the contestants. Nick, do you know where in the interview he talked about that? If you can find it for me, I'll watch it real quick. Yeah, you know what? If somebody can find that part for me, I can watch it real quick. Are you gonna leave this live stream up? Yeah, if it doesn't get demonetized. Because what happens when you get demonetized, YouTube says that your ad rating ranking is bad, and they kind of penalize you for it. So hopefully this doesn't get demonetized. But yeah, I'm gonna sign out here, guys. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Bouncing Ball Blue. I think Andre donated as well. Thank you to everyone who donated. Mixed Gamer, thank you guys. Thank you all for the donations. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night or good morning. And I'll see you whenever I feel like streaming again. Take care. Bye-bye.